Tell me about your kid.
Okay, so I have twins. Jackson is 17 and very focused on his academics, but he has already decided it's probably going to be business, finance, accounting. About 3 months ago, he wanted to know, how do you set up a retirement account? And so I've worked in several cities, and so I sat down with him and pulled all my stuff out and talked to him about what I had in Phoenix, Arizona, what I had in Virginia Beach, Virginia, California, and then Austin, Texas, and then now my retirement here. And I showed him, the different ones, and how in one case, the one in Arizona is actually, there's a 401 and then a 457, and they do some of the investments and stuff like that. And he said, well, I think I'd like to set up an account so that when I reach a retirement age or I want to retire early, I can do it. And so he sat down and he put some of his savings in an account, opened it up with Fidelity because he'd already set up an account to do trading. He wanted to learn how to do funds and stocks and learn how to trade. And so they worked with him to help him set up a retirement account. And so he's already maxed out what he can put in his retirement for this year.
Oh my goodness.
And he is playing with the stock market. He buys and sells, and he's doing so good that I opened up one just to see what would happen. So he does the same thing with mine. He reads about the stocks, he reads about what's going to happen, and then he decides whether he needs to sell or not. It's just really interesting that a 17-year-old is that interested in it.
He's still in high school. Wow. And he's graduating this year.
He'll graduate next year, actually. He's a year out.
Awesome. Can I share a story with other kids?
Yes.
I'm super impressed.
He's in the top 3%, 3 to 5% of his class. He takes practice ACT and SAT, and he's very focused, and he's wanting to go to the best business school so that he can be the best and learn the most. He's looking at the Mays Business School at A&M, McCombs Business School at University of Texas, Austin, TCU's Business School, Arkansas. They are very different on how they pick students, so we'll see what happens. I think he's going to apply to all of them and see what happens, but he's already ahead, I think, because he understands the business and finance side.
So tell him, if he's looking for an internship, I'm looking for someone like him.
Okay, I will. He's a brilliant kid. He really is. He's very introverted. He's not a social butterfly. He does volunteering and helps to deliver diapers. Both of them do. He's very focused. And you just don't know how the kids get to be that way. He knows what he wants, and he knows what he needs to do to get there, and he's going to do that. He studies for tests way in advance. Like when we went on vacation for spring break, it's like, why did you bring your books? He says, well, I have a test in a couple of weeks. And
wow.
I really, and I'm like, Jackson, you're on vacation, it's spring break. And it's just...
He has to prepare himself.
Yeah, I wish that I had that kind of focus. I didn't. And his brother, who does well, has other priorities, and understandably, I want him to be balanced, but it's interesting. When they were little, they worked at a place called the Rainbow Room they made packets for kids that might have been taken from their families or something, or they packed sandwiches for people experiencing homelessness.
Aww.
And he does a program where they work with some of the kids that are in school that are in inclusionary programs that have certain disabilities, so he works with that. He's just a good guy. They're both Connor, he's more outgoing, he's more communicative, he's very much empathetic, he shows empathy. I can give you a story of elementary school. The kids now punch in their number to get their lunch. Connor would get in line and he'd say, anybody need anything? There was always this one kid that didn't bring his lunch or something, and Connor would buy his lunch.
Aww.
And I'd say, Connor, you went through $50 really quick in this, and Jackson still has like 25. What's going on? He's like, well, there's a guy that doesn't have lunch, and I'm like, as long as you're buying for somebody that doesn't have lunch, I'm fine. If you're out there going, hey, can I buy anybody anything?
That's a problem.
Yeah. Connor has the empathy. Connor's very caring. Connor will just give me big hugs and call me during the day.
Yeah, I know you're proud of both of
Very
them,
much.
and of course you take joy in their successes, and it should be celebrated.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
when a young guy takes initiative
It's
and
unbelievable
and
how
he
much.
is independent and he manages his money, manages his schedule, manages his time, manages his academics. That should be celebrated.
If you have multiple kids, whether they're twins or not, you cannot hold them and compare them to each other. They're
Absolutely.
individual people. And Jackson is the way he is because that's how he is, and I love him for that. We love him for that. And then Connor is the way he is.
They're just
And
different.
They're just totally different. And as long as we provide them the same opportunities, and they will excel where they would excel.
Yeah.
And I think they have the basic values that they need, which
Yes.
is caring, for others. And I think they'll both be successful. To what extent and to how far, I don't know. I think Jackson will be the one that goes and gets his master's and perhaps his doctorate. Connor may make it through college and say, that's it for me. I'm
Yep.
going to work. I'm going to do this. And I don't know what he's going to do because Jackson kind of knows. Connor, he may be in government.
He'll figure it out.
He'll figure it out.
And he's got the tools to help him figure it out. And they all don't have to be the same shade.
Yeah. No.
Thank you so much.
You're so